Coming up next on AVID Achievers, navigating the cost and benefits of early release during senior year. Hello and welcome to AVID Achievers. I'm your host, Jen Lombardi, and today I'm here with Jackie Wilford, AVID Site Coordinator at Northeast High School, and Emily Gordon, AVID Site Coordinator at Old Mill High School. Today we're going to discuss the costs and benefits of senior year taking an early release day. Welcome, Jackie and Emily.
Thank you,
Emily, why is it even possible for seniors to take an early release day senior year?
Well, if a senior has finished their graduation requirements, then they often try to pursue other interests. And common with that is taking classes at the community college, or they pursue internships. Sometimes students also just want to have a job, so they get to leave school early to do one of those things. But one thing that we really urge students is to be careful with why they take early release. Often students do abuse it. They'll have a job, for example, and they'll leave school early, but they may not really need to leave school early for that job. The job hours may start after school. And likewise, students can take classes at the community college, which can be wonderful, but sometimes students, once again, are taking a class much later in the day rather than taking it earlier, warranting the early release.
So basically, students can take early release because all their graduation requirements are completed.
Correct.
So how long are they in school for?
Usually just for 2 periods. So they'll come for 2 periods, and we're on a block schedule at A, B day with 4 periods in the day. And so they'll leave about 10:30 or so in the morning to go to that job or to that internship or to the college classes.
Okay. Jackie, what are some good reasons for students to leave?
Internships, I think, is a great reason to leave, as well as Jumpstart to explore classes in general. Internships can give students opportunities to explore the career that they may be interested in, or a major that they might be interested in pursuing in college, or it could give them hours towards a requirement for a college application possibly, such as the case at Lebanon Valley College, where students need to have so many internship hours for physical therapy program. And it's good to check those things out and do your research before you apply, so that you're not going to be scrambling trying to get those hours in the summer of your senior year before you would start a program. Also, with the Jumpstart classes, being able to take college level classes to make sure that you kind of get your feet wet, know that you can handle those before you go off to a 4-year college or university is another good reason as well.
And to add to that, I would say that a student who is interested in a major that has, let's say they're interested in business or something, and that business class may not be offered at an AP level at the high school. They could take that class at the community college to see, are they really interested in taking business in college.
Okay, so the community college you discussed before. Now, what are some benefits for students, from your students' perspective, about students taking classes at the community college?
Well, so going to community college, like I said, is great if a student wants to take a class that's not offered at the high school. It's also great for a student to try to see how will they do in college, will they be successful. And if those credits are transferable to college, they can save money when they do go to college. They can have some of those prerequisite freshman level classes done with before they actually go on to their 4-year university. So those things can be very helpful.
Oftentimes I find that my students have an idea in their head of what they'd like to pursue in college, and I've known many people in my life, and including myself, that may have changed my idea of what my major should be in college. So it's nice to start at the community college, try out a bunch of different classes, taking your general education requirements, to see what is it that I really like. Do I really enjoy teaching before I go into teaching, or engineering or math before I pursue that in college?
So what I'm hearing is some of the benefits of attending an ECAP or Jumpstart program at the community college would be taking courses that are not available at the school, actually earning college credits, which could save you money, and you could actually, if the college credits are transferable, you could start not at a freshman, but halfway through your freshman year at a college.
Correct.
Those are some pretty good advantages for a senior to be taking some courses there. What about advantages of internships? I heard you say before, Jackie, about some colleges require internships, but what are some other advantages of students taking an early release schedule to complete an internship?
Again, getting some real world experience to make sure that that is the field that you want to go into, I think is very valuable, because you may change your path before you even begin your college experience if you decide to try an internship out. And colleges sometimes don't require a paid internship either. It could be paid or unpaid. Medical field, like I said, physical therapy is one. I do know a couple of my students who have applied as pre-med majors and work at the hospital already in an internship, and it's an unpaid internship, but I think that really helped them to get into the colleges of their choice when they applied. I think that was a huge benefit.
Also, if you have an internship, then you're building relationships with people who might write you letters of recommendation or give you a nice job reference down the road. So many of us go on to college, we graduate from college, and employers look at us and they say, you have no experience. And that can be really frustrating. But if you have an internship, you do have experience and you can prove that.
Now, are some of the internships, or do they end up being longer just than the senior year, or?
Oftentimes, if you're a really good employee, they invite you back for future summers or maybe breaks during college. So, and at that point, they may be paid, and then you can earn some money that way. So I think it could turn into a paying position. It could turn into a future position at the firm or company after you finish your degree as well.
Okay. Emily, what are some advantages of staying and taking a full day schedule at the high school?
So I'm a big advocate of students staying in the school all day. Some big reasons are that it's free. So a child can take an AP class and not have to pay anything for it, and they can take the AP test, and if they pass that test, they also get college credit, the same way they would get college credit by doing a program at community college. So once again, that's free. Parents should know, students do have to pay for the AP exam, but there are so many programs in place to help families who can't afford it, and also being an AVID student. If a student is an AVID, they get a discount on those AP exams as well. So the fact that it doesn't cost anything is huge, but also in the high school, AP classes last an entire school year, and so they're actually a little bit slower than a college class. So a student who's a little nervous or unsure if they can meet the rigor and the speed of a college level class, they can try it in the high school setting, have a whole school year, have access to their teachers, not have to worry about transportation. So there are more supports in place for the student.
Another advantage is, especially with, I'm thinking, college applications or scholarship applications, staying in school full time, they can participate in some of the clubs and activities that school offers, and many colleges like to see a well-rounded student. They want to see them participating in these types of activities, and that would give them the opportunity to do that.
Well, that leads me to my next question. A college admission officer looking at either a student taking a partial day schedule or a student taking a full day schedule, how might they view a partial day schedule?
My experience when I ask them that question is that they do prefer a full schedule. They prefer to see students pushing themselves in rigorous classes at the high school. That's not everyone, not all the time. A lot of it has to do with a student's GPA. You know, if a student needs an extra bump in their grade point average, taking an advanced placement course can help with that boost in the GPA, which we do know is a bottom line thing that most colleges look for. I would say if a student has really balanced themselves well with many AP classes earlier on before their senior year, and if their grade point average is high and strong, then they would be a better candidate for having the early release.
Additionally, there's a lot of other honors classes that are offered through Anne Arundel County Public Schools that many students never get the opportunity to take because their schedules are so full in 9th and 10th grade and even 11th grade, especially if they're considering an early release option, that by the time they get to 12th grade, they have the ability and an open schedule to take other classes that they might be interested in, and another way to explore different possibilities for majors or careers as well.
Thank you. When we come back, we will be discussing the Early College Access Program with Diane Bennett.
Hi, thanks for watching AACPS TV. I'm Jody Rissy, the host for Food for Thought. Did you know that April is Healthy Anne Arundel Month? Join us in celebration as we create healthy students, healthy schools, and we cultivate communities of wellness. Anne Arundel County Public Schools is partnering with the Department of Health and Recreation and Parks Anne Arundel Medical Center, Baltimore Washington Medical Center, and many more agencies to make health happen right here in Anne Arundel County. Log on to www.healthyannearundel.org to find a healthy event close to you.
Welcome back to AVID Achievers. We are here now with Diane Bennett, who is a transition advisor for Anne Arundel Community College, who works closely with Anne Arundel County Public Schools. And we're going to discuss Early College Access Program. Welcome, Diane.
Thank you.
So, Diane, what is the Early College Access Program?
Well,
ECAP.
we call it ECAP. It's formally Jumpstart, and we still refer to it as Jumpstart because that's what our students in our community knows it as. So it's just an opportunity, as was mentioned before, for high school students to start earning college credits while they're still in high school. Then those credits may be transferred to a four-year school.
Okay, and what are the requirements to become an ECAP student?
Right. So students, they're generally seniors, but they actually 16 is the minimum age, but generally seniors who may have early release. That's where we get most of our students. So 16 years old, they have to be taking at least 2 half-credit classes a semester in their high school. They should have at least a 2.0 grade point average. We like them to have good attendance as well. And then there are a couple of college requirements that must be met. So they have to make sure that they've taken any prerequisite classes or check to see if there's a prerequisite class. And they also have to demonstrate proficiency in the areas of English and reading and math if they're going to take a math class. So the way we determine that proficiency is through either SAT scores or ACT scores, or they can take the test that we give, the placement test that we give, the AccuPlacer. Now, for AVID students, they take the AccuPlacer as part of AVID, so we can use those scores. But most of our classes, probably about 70% of our classes, have an English requirement, an English 111 requirement, which is what we consider freshman English. And so through their critical reading score on the SAT or their English and reading score on the AccuPlacer, we determine if they're eligible for that class.
Okay, so let me just make sure I understand completely. If I am a senior and I want to take a class, not an English class, but another class, maybe a humanities class, and there's an English requirement, I will have had to take in either the SAT or the AccuPlacer so you could, and score at a certain level to find out if I'm eligible.
And those test scores may advance them to an even higher level class. So they may be able to take, you know, an upper level English class or an upper level math class.
Okay. Well, from that, what are some of the courses that a high school student could or would take?
Well, generally, we try to encourage them to take some general education courses. So some of our most popular courses, Intro to Psychology, but again, AP Psychology is offered in the high school. So some high schools will not approve that course for students, and some will. Intro to Sociology is another one, Fundamentals of Oral Communication, an Intro to Business course or Business and its Environment. But they can really take anything that we offer as long as they have met the requirements. There are no special classes just for Jumpstart, and that's something that a lot of students are not aware of.
Okay. What's the difference between Jumpstart and dual credit?
Okay. So dual credit means that you take the college class, but your high school also approves that class for high school credit. For example, as was mentioned before, not all classes are offered in the high schools. For example, Calc 3 might be one of them. So if Calc 3 is not offered in your high school, you might take Calculus and Analytic Geometry 3 at the community college. And you would get the college credit for that, but that would also satisfy that Calc 3 credit. The important thing to remember is that the high schools have to approve the high school credit. We grant the college credit, but it's up to the high school to approve that dual credit. And unlike regular classes that students take through Jumpstart, there is a list of designated approved courses for dual credit. And students can find that list on the county website or the community college's website. I think there's about 90 of them that are approved.
Okay. And hearing that about the dual credits, that leads me to question, how would the student be graded?
Okay, and that's an important point to point out about any class that they take at the college. So if you take a class through ECAP or Jumpstart, that grade that you get in that class does not factor into your high school grade point average. In fact, it does not even appear on your high school transcript. It appears on your college transcript. So when you go to apply to college, you have to make sure that you also request your college transcript to be sent so that they can see that, if you have early release, what are you doing with that extra time? Dual credit classes do appear, the high school class appears on the high school transcript, but it either gets a satisfactory and unsatisfactory depending on whether or not you pass the class. And again, it's not factored into your grade point average.
So not factoring in if I really wanted to bump up my GPA with a Calc 3 class.
No, that would not factor in to your grade point average.
So are there reasons why somebody would want to do the dual credit over?
Well, in some case, we have a lot of students who are taking very full senior year schedules. A lot of the students in our magnet programs have very full schedules and may not be able to fit something in that they really want to take. So sometimes they may get approved to do dual credit for one of those classes. There are other circumstances, perhaps students for one reason or another missed a lot of school due to illness or something like that, and maybe they're kind of playing catch up a little bit and may be given approval to do some dual credit. I've seen cases where a student may only need English 12 to graduate, and so there is an equivalent course at the community college for English 12, and I have seen some schools that will approve that.
So that student might just go to the community college.
Exactly, but still get that English 12 credit.
Interesting. Now, what would, for Jumpstart, or formerly Jumpstart, now ECAP,
right.
What would the typical schedule look like? So I'm in school part of the day and at the community college part of the day?
Generally, that's what most students do. They may go to their high school, the first 2 periods be finished about 10:30, then head out to one of our campuses to take classes in the afternoon. So generally our classes meet either 3 days a week or 2 days a week. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. So they may take 1 class a semester, they may take 2 classes a semester. There's really no limit to the number of classes they can take through the Jumpstart program. It's really dependent upon what they can handle. But there are other options. So that's the typical day program, but they could take evening classes. They can take online classes. They can take hybrid classes, which are a combination of both online and face-to-face. So there's lots of options for them.
So a student could actually leave school at 10 o'clock, go do an internship, and then take evening Jumpstart ECAP classes.
They could stay in school full day and take some AP classes and also some Jumpstart classes, and really maybe even start college as a second semester freshman or even as a sophomore.
And if a student were to go to University of Maryland, I know the tuition right now for a year, just the tuition is around $10,000. So if I started as a sophomore because I had so many credits, then that would be a $10,000 saving.
Exactly. So there's a cost-saving benefit. There's a time-saving benefit, which in the long run is a cost-saving benefit. And also, students who are taking classes at the community college while they're still in high school get a 50% tuition reduction for the class. So they're paying half of what they would take for that same course that they would take at the community college, and actually saving a lot more money than if they were going to take that class at a 4-year college.
Right. And I was looking at the costs per credit, and you're talking if some of the public schools, 4-year universities, are around $400 per credit hour, and the community college
they're more than that.
is 100, and you're now only paying 50.
Well, our classes are to take a class and pay full price is about it's $102 a credit at the community
per
college.
credit hour.
Right. Yeah. So you're exactly right. So about $150 between $200, by the time you pay the fees. So there's a real cost savings there. Also, I should mention that students who are participating in the free and reduced lunch program through the school system may have their tuition waived completely. So they would still be responsible for paying fees and any lab fees, activity fees by the book, but they would not pay tuition.
And with these fees, what are some of the benefits students would get being on the college
Good
campus?
question. So they get full access to anything that an Anne Arundel Community College student gets. So they have access to the pool, they have access to the gym, to the library, to all of our tutoring services and support services, the writing lab, the math lab, just anything. And so you're on campus for your Jumpstart class, and you've got an assignment for your high school English class. The library is right there. You can access that. So a lot of benefits.
Okay, and what about students once they've completed an ECAP or a Jumpstart program? What have you seen about college admissions to four-year universities? How do they perceive, or
Right.
what is their opinion?
Good question, and I get that question a lot. Keep in mind that colleges are looking for rigor. They're looking to see, how are you challenging yourself? How have you challenged yourself? And especially in your senior year, how are you continuing to challenge yourself? So a class through Jumpstart is a rigorous college class. An AP class is a rigorous college class. I can't speak for every college. I did have one experience where I attended a session where the admissions counselor came from Penn State to talk to a group of students at South River High School. And she asked, how many of you are taking concurrent classes at your community college? And students raised their hand. And she said, we place, now this is Penn State, we place as much value on those classes as we do on AP classes. Now, does every college do that? I can't answer that. But that points to the fact that students really need to do their homework when they're trying to make these decisions, because it has to be a very personal and individual decision about what you're going to do in your senior year, especially if you're going to do early release. What am I going to do? What am I going to do at that time? So they do need to check to see, how is dual credit accepted? How are AP credits accepted? What's the minimum score that colleges are looking for those AP classes, and so on. So they really need to do their homework.
That is wonderful advice, and especially because we have parents and students watching wondering, what direction should I go? So what I think I'm hearing you say is that students should really look at, where do they want to go, and then what do they value?
Exactly.
But pretty much everybody's going to value rigor.
Yes.
So thus a partial day schedule where I'm not attending a college class, doing a internship, is not going to look as rigorous to a four-year university.
Right. What are you doing with that time?
And what do some of Anne Arundel County Public School students say about the experience of Jumpstart?
We have talked to some of them, and some of them have found, some of them have kind of changed their mind about where they're going to attend college, because they've had that experience on a college campus. They see that Anne Arundel Community College is real college, and they've had a great experience, so they may decide to start out. I should also mention that we've been experimenting with offering some classes in the high schools during the regular school day. So, for example, at North County High School and South River High School, and we've done this at Chesapeake High School as well, we're offering, well, at South River, we've offered fundamentals of oral communication during fourth period on Tuesdays and Thursdays during the regular school day. So those children, those students, I get to talk to a lot, because I'm at that school quite often. And it's been a great experience. And I think one of the real true benefits of taking these college classes, and it was mentioned before, is that they get to experience a college class without the pressure of a full load, in their first semester of college. We, from the time children are born, we as adults have structured their time, helped them manage their time, and then they start college and they have to figure that out on their own. So they take a college class, even if it's just one, and they get to experience what that time commitment is for just that one class, and multiply that by 3 or 4 classes, and they start to see what a real college experience must be. Then add in all the free time and all the fun that they want to have, and I think it's a great opportunity.
Now, that that's a wonderful option for planning for students, because then they know, do I want to take 12, 18,
Exactly.
9 credits my freshman year? So that sounds like a very, very important option for some students. I just really want to thank you for being with us today. Hopefully our guests have informed our viewers about why to take a college class. And for more information, the community college has a website.
The community college is on our website. If they just go to our website and go to future students and look for the tab that says earning credit while you're in high school. But there's also information on the Anne Arundel County Public School website as well. So you can find all of the information that you need for how you go about enrolling and registering for a class.
Wonderful. And we will put those websites up. Thank you so much for joining us today on AVID Achievers as we discuss ECAP and early release during senior year. Join us again next month.
Coming to a library near you this summer, every hero has a story. Be a hero. Read. This summer, all 15 Anne Arundel County Public Library branches will be featuring our free summer reading club. Everyone of all ages is encouraged to sign up so the fun can begin. Why do we plan a summer reading club every year? It's the time of year when the kids are out of school and families are wondering how to keep their children from saying, "I'm bored." Happily, AACPL is gearing up to provide fun, interesting, and educational programs to help keep children of all ages and their families engaged. Heroes of all kinds will be present in our programming and special activities to encourage reading and learning while having fun. Now for the fun! You can sign up anytime between May 29th and August 8th. You may win tickets to an Orioles game or to the Maryland Science Center. Everyone 15 and younger will receive a ticket to a Bowie Bay Sox game. You will go on a scavenger hunt to find community heroes scattered throughout each branch. When you solve the puzzle, you will win a prize. You can keep count of your reading and other activities on an activity sheet and win a prize at the end of the program. You can attend special superhero events at each branch. You can attend programs by our super performers, Eco Adventures, the Yo-Jo Show, and magician Joe Romano. You can attend family-friendly concerts with Cantere, the Milkshake Duo, Rock Creek Steel Drums and the Geckos, or the Rob Levitt Trio. Remember, when you register, you will help your school be eligible for the Chesapeake Cup. Check our library website or come into any library branch and pick up a copy of Library Happenings for times and locations. Every hero has a story. Be a hero. Read.